Hello everybody. So practice makes man perfect. You know that always if you are doing some work and if you are doing so much of practice on it, you will be so perfect in that work. Isn't it? Like that even in the study also, if you are doing so much practice in the study, so you will be perfect in the particular subject. Okay. So with a small slogan, we will start with one more new concept in the chemistry, that is periodic classification of elements. Okay, right. So we are classifying the known elements in this chapter. Understood? And so many different scientists have tried or attempted in their level to classify the elements. And the classification is a common character of a human being. If you are provided with some things, in that you will usually classify or you will make a group of similar properties matters, isn't it? So for example, you only take the examples of your books. Okay, suppose if you are having 100 or 200 books with you, in that you will search that all the science books will be put in a one group, all the social science book will be put in a one group. Like that, it is a common inbuilt character of a human being. This has come with our the evolution itself only, isn't it? So we can say it's a inbuilt character of a human being. Understood? Like that, here also we are going to do the classification of elements. Okay, so far 118 elements are known to us. How much? 118 elements are known to us. In that, so many scientists, but here so many scientists have tried or attempted to classify, but here we are going to study 4 to 5 scientists only. Okay, and first scientist who tried to or who attempted to classify the elements of his age, that was Daubernier, the first scientist. Please note him, Daubernier. Was a scientist. He was from the German. Okay, he was a German chemist and he was a professor in a German university, that too a Zeno University. Okay, he was known for two things. First one is Daubernier triad, which we are going to study it in this chapter. Another one is Daubernier lamp. So he was the first volunteer who has given us a lighter. Okay. So let us see the Daubernier triad, on which properties actually he made the classification of elements of his age. That means in the year 1829. So in the 1829, only less than 33 elements were known at that time, but he made the classification of some elements. Those are having the similar properties. For example, I will take, he has 3 groups of three elements. So first one is lithium, sodium and potassium. This was his first group. Second one was calcium, strontium and barium. This was his second group. Third one was chlorine, bromine and iodine. Like this, totally 9 elements he made it into 3 groups, that to 9 elements. Each group is having three elements, that's why we call it as a triad. On which basis he has made these groups? Simple. First he took the one base for this to classify, that is increasing order of the atomic masses. First one, see here, the lithium atomic mass is 9, sodium is 23 and potassium is 39. Like that, here also calcium is 40, strontium is 88 and barium is 137. And here also you can find 35.5 is the chlorine's atomic mass, bromine is nearly 81 point something or 80 you can take, and iodine is 127. So like this, on the basis of increasing order of the atomic masses, first base he was taken. Second thing, he has seen the similar properties of these 3 elements. You can see here lithium, sodium and potassium are the alkali metals. Okay, easily react with the water and gives a basis LiOH plus hydrogen gas. See here, like that sodium also easily reacts with the water, gives sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Understood? Same like that potassium, when it reacts with the water, gives potassium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. So all three elements in the first group were giving the hydrogen gases when they react with the water. This is what the first similarity, okay, in the property. Second thing, all are alkali metals, easily react with the even oxygen also gives, see here, Li2O, Na2O, K2O. Understood? So these are the similar properties he has observed, and on the basis of the increasing order of the atomic masses, he just have putted all these three in a one group. That's why we call it as a triad. Same like that only you can see here, calcium, strontium and barium, these are alkaline earth metals. When they react with the water, you can also see here, calcium when it reacts with the water gives a basis called CaOH twice. Same like that only, strontium SrOH twice, barium hydroxide, like this, these were giving the mild basis. Understood? And even you can see here, all the in a present day, if you see, the valency of lithium is 1, sodium's valency is 1 and potassium valency is 1. Like this, the similar properties in the entire elements what was known in his age was picked up by the Dobiner and made it into group like this into the three elements. Okay, here also you can see the valency of calcium is plus 2 plus, or you can take strontium is 2 plus, barium is 2 plus, and all are alkaline earth metals and giving the bases, calcium hydroxide, strontium hydroxide and barium hydroxide. Okay, so these properties he has observed and made it a group of these three elements. Like that, here also chlorine, bromine, iodine, all are halogens. You people know that. Halo means salt. Halo means salt. Gens means providing or generating. Salt generating elements, these are all. It means what? It means when they react with the metals, they gives us a salt. Okay, that's what we call these are the halogens. And he has observed that property that these are all are having the valencies of -1, see here, chlorine -1, and this one is also having -1. Here it is having +1 like this, like that also here you can see the -1 valencies. Okay, first thing, and all are halogens, second thing, and they reacts with the metals, gives a salt, that's why they are called halogens. Third thing, when they react with the hydrogens, they gives a HCl, HBr, HI, like this kind of acids. That's why he putted all these three into a single group. Understood? So like this, totally 3 groups he has given us out of 33 or less than 33 elements which were known at his time in the year 1829. So he made the groups like this, and he has given us a law called Dobinet's triad law. What it says simply, the similar properties elements are grouped in a one group, putted in a one group, and those 3 elements are in a single group only. That's why we call it as a triad law. And all the 3 elements are having the similar properties and kept it in a one group only, and their increasing order of atomic masses he just have kept it, first thing. And second thing, even you can observe here, second point he has highlighted in this triad law, that simply the arithmetic mean of first and third element you can take, or you see, just I will give you. So the atomic mass of the second element is, you can take a lithium as a first element, sodium as a second element, potassium is a third element. Same like that only calcium, strontium and barium, chlorine, bromine, iodine, first, second, third, like that you can take. Okay. So atomic mass of the second element is approximately or equal to the arithmetic mean of first and third elements masses. Okay, this one point he has highlighted. Okay, let us see that how is it matching or not to his statement or not, that we will check it now. Okay, right, then we will check it now here. So arithmetic mean of second, the mass of the second element is equal to the arithmetic mean of first and third element. Let us check that. So first, lithium's atomic mass is 9 and potassium's atomic mass is 39, and its arithmetic mean is divided by 2 will be equal to the mass of the second element. Okay, let us check that. So this is 7. I am sorry, I am very sorry. This is 7. So totally 46 divided by 2. Okay, how much you will get? Exactly 23, which is exactly the mass of a sodium. Like this he has given. Even you can check with the second group and third group, you will get exactly or approximately equal to the mass of a second element. Understood? Okay. So then, sir, why this law was not successful? If you ask me that question, only these 9 elements were following all these the properties what he has explained in his triad law. So after these 9 elements, other elements were not following these properties what he has explained in the triad law. You can check here also. Suppose instead of taking the chlorine, bromine and iodine, simply you take a fluorine, chlorine and bromine, then you just check his second statement that the atomic mass of a second element is equal to or approximately equal to arithmetic mean of first and third element, he said in the second statement. Let us check that one whether it follows there or not. With these 3 elements we will see. Okay, fluorine, you know that its atomic mass 19, chlorine 35.5, bromine as you know already it is 80. So 80 plus 19 divided by 2, how much it is? 99 divided by 2, almost it is 2 ones are 2 4s are 8 and 19 2 9s are okay 18, 49.5 it is. So see here the second element almost 35.5, it is there is a big gap. What he said in the second statement of triad, so almost equal to or equal to the mass of a second mass, but here there is a big gap 35.5 and 49.5, there is a big gap 14 number gaps here. That's what it is not following here. Understood? That's why the Debye-Graff triad law was unsuccessful. Understood? Okay, this was his limitations. Alright, so the second person who has attempted to classify the elements was Newland. So he was from the London. So he was also a chemist. He was a very good music lover. Okay, he was a very good music lover, and he tried to keep all the elements on the basis of the musical notes. You know that there are 8 notes in a Western as well as a Indian music. Okay, so he simply tried to because as he was there in the hangover of the musical notes and he was a very good music lover, always he want to match those elements with the musical notes. Understood? Okay then. So that person was Newland. Newland in his time totally in the year 1864 totally 56 elements were known at that time. Okay, 56 elements were known, and he has given a law, that Newland's law of octave. Newland's law of octave. Means what, sir? Means is very simple. So he has taken, as I told you, the Western musical note or Indian musical note you can take. All are having only 7 notes in that. So 8th one will be the first itself only. That means I will write you here sa re ga ma pa dha ni, and 8th one will be the sa itself only. Like that, what he did, simply he said that once if you arranging the elements in the increasing order of the atomic masses, every eighth element will follow the properties of first element. Okay, that means suppose if you take a hydrogen, he has started from the first element, that is hydrogen, and in his time, in the year 1864, no noble gases or inert gases were discovered. Okay, undiscovered that time. Hydrogen, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon was not discovered. Then he has come to the sodium and magnesium, then aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur. Okay, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon was not discovered, potassium and calcium. Okay, like this, what he said, every 8th element, suppose if you are taking this as the 8th element, then its respective first one will be lithium itself only. You can count 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd and 1st. Understood? Every 8th element will follow the properties of its respective first element. He said like that. Understood? That means after every 7th element, 8th element will definitely come under the first element only. He said like that. Understood? So this was his law. That's why he has given that name called Newland's law of octave. Newland's law of octave. Okay, then sir, then what made his law or his classification unsuccessful? I will tell you. There are limitations to his classification also. Those I will tell you. Just I will show you one more board here. What all the elements he has classified. Just I will show you here like this. See, this was the Newland's octaves or the Newland's classification of elements. As we already discussed, he simply compared his classification with the musical notes, and you can see here there was no separate place for the noble gases. First limitation. Second one, so up to the calcium, the properties what he was saying were matching. After calcium, you can see the other elements are not matching. That is second point. Third point, he has placed some elements in one note only, like cobalt and nickel. You can see here, which are unlike with the upper elements. See, hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine are non-metals, whereas he has put the cobalt and nickel in the same note, that is in the first group. See here, the cobalt and nickel's properties are entirely changes, not matching with the upper elements. Okay, this is what one more limitation. And you can see here also iron, which almost matches the characters of cobalt and nickel, have placed very far from the iron. Okay, or iron has placed very far from the cobalt and nickel. Understood? Like this was his one more limitation, and he was very overconfident that so far 56 elements were discovered. In his times 56 elements were discovered, and he declared that no elements are present after 56, no elements are present in the earth, only 56 are the final, and no other elements will be discovered in future, like that he said. But at present 118 elements known to us, even still so many elements are in the pipeline of a discovery. Okay, so these were all his limitations, and you can see here there are so many problems in his classification that we already discussed under the name of anomalies or limitations. Okay, cobalt and nickel have kept in a first group which are not matching with the hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine, which are non-metals. These are metals, and here in the seventh group, the iron, which was not matching with the oxygen and sulfur, which were once again the non-metals, like this. But there are some good things also we can observe in this, that he has given one more concept to the next scientist, that is who is going to give us a very clear periodic table. That is, see what is that point is the periodicity. Periodicity he has given us. Okay, what is that periodicity? Simply he said that after every after every seventh, eighth element will follow the first element's property. That is what a fixed interval he said, after every seventh element, that we call it as a periodicity. Understood? So that point to be noted here. Okay, that helps the next scientist to develop the classification of elements. And even you can see here lithium, sodium, potassium, which was the first triad of Dobereiner, that you can count here, that you can see here also. Understood? Okay, like this he has given us a some wonderful classification of elements, but it was not successful, as we discussed his limitations and anomalies, you can call. Understood? Okay then. So after him, the one more scientist, that is Newland, a Russian scientist have come, and he simply took his own time, and his name is Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev. Okay, Mendeleev. So he's in the year 1869. Okay, in the year 1869, he is from the Russia, and Russian professor, chemistry professor. He simply classified the elements of his own age, that is in his age 63 elements were known. 63 elements were known, and he himself only told in an interview that his periodic table, what he has given to us, was dreamt in his sleep. He was dreaming that periodic table in his sleep. That means it shows that the dedication that he has given to the classification of elements. Understood? Okay, that means in his subconscious level also he was working on that. Even in his sleeping time also he was working on the classification of elements. That we call it as a sacrification or a dedication. Okay, understood? Okay then. So how he has classified all the 63 elements in his time? Simply he just have studied some chemical properties of elements, that too with the oxygen and hydrogen, which are highly reactive non-metals. You know that he simply studied the elements reaction with the hydrogen. For example, lithium, when it reacts with the oxygen, it gives lithium oxide. Like that, lithium, when it reacts with the hydrogen, it gives a lithium hydroxide, lithium hydrogen, like this. Understood? So he just have studied some chemical properties and physical properties of elements, and especially the chemical properties with the oxygen and hydrogen and chlorine. Understood? So on this basis he simply made 63 cards, and in each card he simply has written the properties, chemical properties of that element. That means its boiling point, melting point, reaction with oxygen, reaction with the hydrogen, as I told you. So lithium's reaction with the oxygen, lithium's reaction with the hydrogen, and its melting point, and its boiling point, and its density, like the total information about a particular element. Each element he just collected into the one card. Like that, 63 cards he prepared, and in all the 63 cards having all the information of all the 63 elements. Okay, so he simply started placing it in a table, on the basis of their increasing order of the atomic masses, and suddenly he was finding that after some interval of placing the elements, he was finding that a element was following or was having the properties of first element. Then he was suddenly keeping that element under the first element. Like that he was classifying the elements, and he has given us a beautiful periodic table. That also I have already written here to save the time. Here I have written here, you can see this is the Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, so in his periodic table totally there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 groups. So the vertical lines are called groups, horizontal lines are called periods. So in his periodic table we will find the totally 8 groups and 7 periods. Okay, and if you see his original periodic table, it was like not able to read by the common man. Okay, it is so improved periodic table that the scientists have improved it and make it to the understand by the common man. Like that they have made it understood. Okay, see here how he has classified like this. So each group up to 7 group, there are subgroups also you can find here, A, B, like this. There are up to 7 group. There are 2 more subgroups in each group, but the 8th group which was having, see here, which was having a heavy elements, was not having any division. Understood? So this was his periodic table, and in a tabular column, in a tabular form, he has given us the classification, and it was a very famous for around 30 to 40 years. Every scientist have followed it. Okay, from 1869 to 1913, up to 1913, everyone has followed it. Okay, see here, the even reaction with the R means elements. I have taken here R, he has taken R as an element. Reaction with the oxygen, the first group R2O, second group RO, third group R2O3, fourth group RO2, fifth group R2O5, sixth group RO3, seventh group R2O7, so eighth group RO4. Like this, so the reactions with the elements, reactions with the oxygen, elements, reactions with the hydrogen, he just have tried it and studied it. He has given us this type of table. Okay, and you can see here some places he just have kept empty, and even he has mentioned the name for that also, that is Eka boron, Eka aluminum, dotted line I had shown here, and Eka silicon. Eka means EKA, Eka. It's a Sanskrit word. Eka means first. Okay, so Eka boron, so boron is first. After that, a similar properties, that means the properties which boron is having, the same properties having one more element yet to discover, that is Eka boron, he said. Okay, so that is Eka boron, and same like that only Eka aluminum, Eka silicon, like this. 3 still undiscovered elements in his time was predicted by that scientist, and gave a hint to the scientist that you can discover such elements, that they are there in the earth. And in the 1871, the Eka boron, that means scandium, was discovered, and Eka aluminum, that is in the 1879, Eka aluminum, that is gallium, was discovered, and after that Eka germanium was discovered. Okay, totally he has predicted the properties of the undiscovered elements also. This is one beauty, or the good thing about the Mendeleev's periodic table, you can say. And Mendeleev's periodic table have a law. What is that law? Simply what he said, the physical or chemical properties of element, physical or chemical properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic masses. Periodic functions of their atomic masses, he said like that. And a small correction he made in a Newland's octaves law, that what he said, simply instead of the properties of element, after the seventh element follows the first element, like that, he simply corrected that it may be the eighth element comes under the first element, or 18th element, or 32nd element, like that. He simply made a small correction in his periodic table. That means after a fixed interval of time, the properties are reoccur. He said like that. Understood? Okay. So then we will see the merits of his table. First thing, he has given us undiscovered hint to the undiscovered elements, like Eka boron, Eka aluminum, and Eka silicon. First merit. And in his lifetime itself only, those the Eka boron, Eka aluminum, and Eka silicon, which he has predicted and which he has given the properties of all those undiscovered elements, are discovered and almost matching the his said properties. The density of that discovered element, it may be, or boiling point, it may be, or its reaction with the oxides, it may be, its reaction with the chlorine, it may be, like this. Almost chemical properties and its boiling point, melting point, all were exactly matching. That was his plus point. And he was the only person who has classified all the elements of his age. That means almost all the 63 elements were classified in a neat manner. Okay. And one more thing, he just to keep all the similar properties of elements in a one group, simply he just have placed some elements which are having a higher atomic mass. The first one is having a higher atomic mass, second one is having a lesser atomic mass. Like that, you can see here, cobalt is having a 58.9 and nickel is having a 58.7. Okay. So simply as per his law, what he said, increasing order of their atomic masses. But here, to match the properties, he simply have placed some elements which are having higher mass. After that, he placed another element which is having lesser than that, lesser the mass of the previous element. Understood? So, and even he has placed, even he has given some more places empty he has given, so that still undiscovered elements are there, you can discover it. Like that, he has given a hint for that also. And in his periodic table, he simply have another place for the undiscovered noble gases. Those are what you can call that as inert gases or noble gases. Those gases, after discovering also, without disturbing his table, they can be placed at a last of his periodic table without disturbing his table. Understood? So that is one more plus point of the Mendeleev's periodic table. Understood? Then we will come to the limitations of Mendeleev's periodic table. What are the limitations of Mendeleev's periodic table? Many times they will ask you in the examination. First limitation, so the hydrogen gas which he has kept it in the first group, you can see here, though it is a non-metal, but it was kept in the first group only with the alkali metals, so lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, like this. Okay. So no proper place for the hydrogen. Second thing, no explanation for the places of isotopes. You know what are isotopes? Isotopes are having a same atomic number, different atomic masses. See here, all are having the same atomic number, different atomic masses. So like that you can take chlorine 1735 and chlorine 1737 like this. These are isotopes. There is no separate place for the, or no explanation about the isotopes. Third thing, as he has given a 3 place and even properties of these 3 places, that is Eka boron, Eka aluminum and Eka silicon, like that some more empty places we can find in his periodic table. Those are not explained by him, So these 3 are the main limitations of Mendeleev's periodic table. So after him these limitations are disappear when Henry Moseley and Niels Bohr have gave us a new concept, a new base for the classification of elements, that is atomic number. That atomic number base which we have taken for the modern periodic table for the classification of elements have made all the anomalies of a Mendeleev's periodic table disappear. Okay. One more point, that he simply denied his statement of increasing order of atomic masses in some more places, that is, as we already discussed, cobalt has to come after nickel as for his statement, but he has taken the cobalt as a first one and nickel as a second one, because to match the similar properties in a single group. Understood? So that one was a wrong or a limitations of his periodic table you can count. Okay, all right. So up to this we have studied 3 scientists have attempted to classify the elements of his age. In the next video we will see the modern periodic table or a long form of periodic table in the next video. So up to that, bye bye, take care.